What if the end of the world isn't what you've been told? What if the flames and shadows of the apocalypse are not a cosmic verdict, but a mirror held before your own soul? Imagine a truth so profound it could unravel everything you thought you knew about the final days, not written in the stars, but whispered in the quiet corners of your heart. Chico Xavier, the gentle seer whose words carried the weight of eternity, saw something beyond the chaos, something the world has overlooked. Are you ready to hear what he uncovered, or will you turn away from the light that burns too brightly? They say the end comes with trumpets, with skies torn asunder, with judgment carved in stone. But what if the apocalypse is already here, unfolding not in cataclysms but in the choices you make every day? Chico Xavier spoke of a reckoning that doesn't wait for the heavens to crack, it begins in the silent battles within. He saw the end of times not as a distant prophecy, but as a tide rising now, pulling at the threads of your life. Have you ever felt it? That restless stirring, that question you can't name, tugging at you in the dead of night. What if that's the signal he warned us about? The world clings to stories of destruction, of a final curtain drawn by an angry hand. Yet Chico Xavier's vision cuts deeper, like a blade through the fog of fear. He spoke of a transformation so vast it could reshape the very essence of who you are, but only if you dare to face it. The end, he said, is not an event. It's a doorway. But where does it lead? To ruin or to rebirth? To ashes or to a truth so radiant it could set your soul ablaze? Every word he left behind is a clue, a breadcrumb on a path most are too afraid to walk. Will you take the first step, or let the mystery slip through your fingers? There's a secret hidden in his teachings, a truth about the final days that the world has buried under noise and distraction. Chico Xavier didn't just see the future, he felt it, lived it, carried its weight in every tear he shed for humanity. He knew the apocalypse isn't what the prophets screamed or the skeptics mocked. It's something closer, something alive, something that's been whispering your name since the moment you were born. What did he see that we've forgotten? What did he know that could change everything? The answers are waiting, but they won't come to you. You must go to them. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, we're going to unravel the enigma of Chico Xavier's vision. This isn't about predictions or dogmas. It's about a revelation that could shift the way you see yourself, your life, and the world crumbling around you. Miss a single word, and you might miss the key to understanding what's coming. The end of times is not a story, it's a question. And the only way to answer it is to keep watching, to let his words pierce the veil and show you what's been true all along. Are you ready to face it? Have you ever felt the weight of a truth you weren't ready to face? A whisper in the dark, too faint to grasp, yet too heavy to ignore. Chico Xavier carried that weight not as a burden, but as a lantern, guiding souls through the fog of their own fears. He spoke of the apocalypse not as a storm to dread, but as a mirror reflecting the battles you've fought in silence. What if the end of times isn't a distant roar, but a quiet tremor already pulsing through your veins? His words pierced the veil of the ordinary, daring you to ask, what have you been running from all this time? The truth he saw wasn't carved in ancient scrolls. It's etched in the choices you make when no one's watching. The world dresses the end in fire and fury, a spectacle of chaos to drown out the stillness within. But Chico Xavier saw through the masquerade. He knew the final days don't announce themselves. With trumpets they creep in through the cracks of your doubts, your regrets, your unspoken hopes. Have you ever paused in the middle of a crowded day and felt utterly alone? That's where his vision begins, not in the heavens, but in the hollow spaces you've tried to fill with noise. He spoke of a reckoning that doesn't judge you from above, but rises from within, asking, what are you holding on to that's already slipping away? The apocalypse, he said, is the moment you stop pretending. There's a rhythm to his words, a pulse that syncs with the ache you've carried too long. Chico Xavier didn't predict the end, he felt it, tasted its bittersweet promise of renewal. He saw humanity standing at a crossroads, not between salvation and doom, but between awakening and oblivion. What if the end of the world is just the end of who you thought you were? His teachings are a map, not to escape the flames, but to walk through them, to find the part of you that's been waiting to be born. Can you feel it now, that flicker of something vast, something you've always known but never dared to name? Every step you take toward his truth is a step toward yourself. They say the end will come for all, but Chico Xavier whispered a deeper secret. It comes for you alone, not in the clamor of collapsing skies, but in the quiet of a single moment when you face the mirror of your soul. He saw the apocalypse as a chrysalis, a painful shedding of illusions that cling like shadows. What would you do if you knew the end was already here, disguised as the life you're living? His vision doesn't offer comfort, it demands courage, the kind that makes your heart race and your hands tremble. The questions he left behind aren't answers, they're keys, unlocking doors you didn't know you'd closed. And yet, there's a tenderness in his gaze, a compassion that holds you even as it challenges you. Chico Xavier's apocalypse isn't a punishment, it's an invitation to see beyond the fear, to hear the song beneath the storm, to remember what you've forgotten about who you are. Have you ever wept for a reason you couldn't explain? That's the echo of his truth, calling you to the edge of everything you've known. The end of times, he said, is not the end of hope, it's the beginning of understanding. But to grasp it, you must let go of the stories that keep you small. Are you ready to listen, or will you let the whisper fade? What if the apocalypse is the moment you finally see yourself? Not the mask you wear, not the fears you bury, but the light you've dimmed to fit the world's expectations. Chico Xavier's words are a current, pulling you toward a truth that's both terrifying and beautiful. He spoke of a world remade not by destruction, but by the courage to love, to forgive, to begin again. Have you ever stood at the edge of a choice and felt the universe holding its breath? That's where his vision lives, in the space between who you've been and who you're becoming. The end, he said, is not a place, it's a awakening. But what will you find when you open your eyes? There's a fire in his teachings, not the kind that consumes, but the kind that Chico Xavier saw the final days as a crucible, where every fear, every doubt, every hidden wound is laid bare. What if the end of the world is the end of your resistance to truth? His words don't let you look away, they hold you, gently but firmly, until you see the reflection of your own divinity. The apocalypse, in his eyes, is not a prophecy to fear, but a promise to embrace. Can you hear it now, the call to rise, to release, to remember? It's not coming from the stars, it's coming from within you. The world will tell you the end is a story of loss, but Chico Xavier knew it as a story of return. A return to the part of you that's never been touched by fear, by shame, by time. His vision of the apocalypse is a tapestry woven with threads of pain and grace, of endings and beginnings. What if the final days are not about surviving, but about becoming? He left us clues, not in riddles, but in the language of the soul, questions that burn, silences that speak, truths that heal. The journey he invites you to take isn't easy, but it's yours. Will you follow the thread, or let it slip through your fingers? The end of times, in Chico Xavier's heart, is a mirror, a doorway, a whisper. It's the moment you stop running and start listening. He saw humanity not as doomed, but as destined not for ruin, but for redemption. Have you ever felt a longing so deep it scared you? That's the spark of his truth, igniting the path ahead. His words are not a warning, they're a welcome, an outstretched hand in the dark. The apocalypse is not the end of the world, it's the end of the world you've been taught to believe in. But to see it, you must be willing to let go. And so, the question remains, what are you afraid to know? Chico Xavier's vision doesn't demand your faith, it asks for your presence, your willingness to stand in the fire of your own truth. The end of times is not a date on a calendar, it's a moment in your soul, a reckoning that's been waiting for you since the beginning. His teachings are a bridge between the seen and the unseen, the broken and the whole. What lies on the other side? Only you can find out. But the first step is to keep going, to let his words carry you deeper. The truth is closer than you think. The end of times, as Chico Xavier saw it, is not a curtain falling but a veil lifting. It's the moment when the world you've known dissolves into the truth you've always carried. His words linger like a melody you can't unhear, weaving through the quiet corners of your soul. Have you ever stood still and felt the universe pulse within you? That's the echo of his vision, a reminder that the apocalypse is not a storm to flee, but a mirror to embrace. In this fleeting pause, you're not just a witness to his truth, you're a part of it, a spark in the vast tapestry of becoming. What if the end is not a destination, but a question? Not a prophecy carved in stone, but a whisper etched in your choices. Chico Xavier's gaze pierces the shadows, revealing that the final days are not about loss, but about return to the light you dimmed, to the love you buried, to the self you've yet to meet. His teachings are not a map to follow, but a song to feel, each note trembling with the promise of awakening. Can you hear it now, that soft call beneath the noise of the world? It's not asking you to run, it's asking you to rise. There's a stillness in his truth, a sacred pause where fear gives way to wonder. The apocalypse, he said, is the shedding of all that keeps you small. The moment you step through the doorway of your own heart, what lies beyond? Not answers, but possibilities endless, radiant, terrifying in their beauty. Chico Xavier didn't leave us with certainties. He left us with courage, the kind that blooms in the dark. Have you ever felt a truth so deep it hurt to hold? That's the gift of his vision, not to explain the end, but to show you how to begin. And so, we stand at the edge of his words, where the end of times becomes the dawn of understanding. This is not a story that ends, it's a fire that kindles, a seed that takes root in the silence you carry. The greatest revelation, he whispered, is that you're enough, not tomorrow, not when the skies shift, but now, in the raw, unbroken truth of who you are. Let this truth be your anchor. You are not here to survive the apocalypse, you are here to transform it. In the quiet of this moment, you are already more than you know. This journey doesn't stop. Here it lives in you, in the questions you'll ask, in the truths you'll seek, in the hearts you'll touch. If Chico Xavier's vision has stirred something within, let it move you now. Like this video, leave a comment to share the spark of your own awakening. Share this message with someone who needs its light, and subscribe to walk this path with us. Not because you must, but because you feel it, the pool of a truth, too vast to keep to yourself. Let's carry this whisper together, until it becomes a song the world can't ignore.